Well, Peter, first I want to thank you for the opportunity to get to know you over the last several years. It's been a real privilege and pleasure to do that. But here today, it's our honor and privilege to recognize you as our 2017 Person of the Year, and I want to thank you for the opportunity to do that. Of the people we have had the privilege of covering for our Person of the Year, they all seem to have a really similar attribute of being humble, but they're also very driven, and I see that in your life as well. So thanks for joining me on this video and for allowing us to honor you in the June issue, but I do have some questions for you that I think will help drive home the point. The first one is, what accomplishment are you most proud of?
I think for me it's, there are several things that pop in my head, but I think for me right now what I'm really thinking about is if we can help a person or a student to have hope of being able to go to college, right? They have a dream, they have something that they want to accomplish, and they just need someone or needed someone to maybe say something to them or give them some encouragement. But then when you see them later on, they didn't give up on that dream. And then you see that, the little thing that you did earlier had made a difference, especially when they keep you updated. So I think that's what's on my mind right now in terms of what I think gives me a great feeling is when I can see a child that has an idea, a desire to do something, but just doesn't know how to go about doing it. And then you're there just to just give some words of encouragement and then see them follow that dream and then actually accomplish that. It is a special feeling to feel inside that makes you go, wow, So
you made a difference.
That's great. Yeah.
Well, that's one of the criteria that we have for this, for the Person of the Year, is a person that, because of the difference they're making, it's changing the trajectory of our community. And so that fits right into that. What would you say is what's your real motivation? What makes you tick? What drives you to do what you do the way you do it?
I wish I had a magic answer, and I've asked myself before, how is it that I'm able to, interact with, especially with students? I can have fun with them and teach and coach. And I started thinking about my mom. I used to ask my mom, why do you cook so much? And my mom said to me, well, you never know if someone walks by the home and is hungry, I want to make sure that I can feed them. And that I always remember that, being able to help others, right, to be of service to others. And then I sat down with my dad and talked to him about, what I'm thinking, how I'm feeling. And he started to tell me about his mom and how she was. And I got a chance to meet his sister and saw exactly, that she was also a person of service. So then I stopped fighting it. And I just started to do what felt right to me. And I can honestly say that every single time that I've done what felt right to me, anytime I ran across a stumbling block, the right person shows up. The right person that I need right there is there to help me to overcome it, or even give me the answer to the questions that I may have to help someone. So I've just accepted it, and it's just a feeling that's inside of me that says this is the right thing to do, and I just try my best to do it.
Now, chances are we have people watching and listening to us that they're in a position like we are, where they have young people, kids under their mentorship, etc. And so the things that you've said, I think, will help relay that. We also have people watching who I would think would want to aspire to be the exemplary community leader that you are. And so maybe you've answered this a little bit, but what is it about your upbringing that has allowed you to be this community leader that you are? Was there influences in your life that helped you get there?
There was, so when I was growing up, didn't have access to the things that most students have today, right? I mean, we all agree that technology has really made a difference for a lot of us, right? We can, achieve leaps and bounds today compared to what it was then. And so I remember the first time someone sat down with me and talked to me about college, and really got me thinking beyond high school, right? And that person was a big influence to me. And as a result of that, the success that I've achieved, I think, really was fed from that discussion that I had. And in fact, the person didn't ask if I wanted to go to college. She just simply said, "You need to be in college." And then I started thinking about my teachers in school, and I can remember the teachers who would take time to sit with me and had me to work on extra things to develop certain skills that they saw. And I can also remember the ones who didn't do that, right? I mean, but I saw how important that was. I was walking through a hotel lobby one day and I saw a group of kids talking about business concepts and things that I learned in my adult life. And I thought they were being fed the information. And I wanted to know, how did they know that? I didn't know that at that age. So how did they know that? And then I got to see how successful those kids were, the organization that they were a part of. In fact, it was Junior Achievement. And I got to see how the impact they had on those students and the success that they've had over the years. And I said, wow, I need to be a part of that. And that really gave me a chance to kind of use that feeling that I had inside of me to try to give back,
Right.
or to try to make a difference.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. My dad was in Junior Achievement, and I remember when I was in high school, a Junior Achievement representative came to my high school, had the big assembly and presentation, and the reason I think I remember it is not only were they very dynamic, but they said, okay, I've got a $10 bill here, who would like it? And of course, you've got probably, I don't know, several hundred students there saying, well, this is an illustration, where is he going with this? But he was serious until somebody, like maybe 30, 45 seconds later, said, I'll take it, and he went over and handed it to him, and he was trying to, hey, there's opportunity there, you've got to go out there and show some initiative and get it. And I remember that lesson to this day.
Yeah,
So,
and I'll tell you something else that happened in Junior Achievement that served as confirmation for me to continue doing with that drive is I was asked to go and speak to a group of students. And I'm talking to them about Junior Achievement and what can be done. And the majority of the kids didn't want to hear what I was saying. In fact, they had their heads, some of them had their heads on the table and so forth, but I just kept talking to them. Well, years later, a student that was there, and one of the students that didn't want to hear what I had to say was on stage accepting an award for being Student of the Year. And in his acceptance speech, unknown to me, he made the comment that the person who inspired him was me, and he actually named my name, and I was floored. I was like, "What?" And I couldn't remember the incident, other than the fact that I remember going to the school and talking to them. But something kept saying, "Keep talking, don't give up, keep talking."
Wow, that's awesome. That's a real payoff, as it were,
Yeah.
and when you see that come to fruition. Much of your work in the Frisco community has been involving youth and with kids and that kind of thing. The last question I would have for you is, what would be a message that you would have for our youth today?
If the dream is big enough, the facts don't count, right? If the dream, and I heard someone else say that before, so I'm just paraphrasing or using that. And what that really means is, and I'll answer it this way first, is that I would hope adults don't look at our youth as our future. Quit just saying they're our future. And the reason I say that is you've got to look at them as our now, all right? Because if you can pour into them today, they're going to be able to make greater decisions in the future, which will then prepare them for success, greater success in the future. So I say, don't look at our kids as our future, because when you do that, you have a tendency to not necessarily do what you need to do today for them, right? So look at them as an immediate now, right? And then ask yourself, what can you do to help them position themselves for success in the future? they're going to have technology to drive them to where they will be exposed and be able to accomplish more a lot faster than we did. And then for the youth, if you have a desire to do something, just find someone who can help you navigate your way through whatever challenges. And I go back to when I was growing up, I was trying to build a bird cage, and I figured, I can do it myself, and I built this bird cage. And the first time I went to feed the bird, one flew out, and I was yelling, But there was a wood shop next to the home where we live, and so I just went over and got advice on how to build it to the point where, where you can go and feed the birds without them getting out. So that advice helped me to have success there. And it's the same thing with life. And I think we have been exposed to so many things in our lives that we can turn around and pass it on to our youth and help them succeed so that they can do even better than what we've accomplished.
I think a lot of times our expectations are too low for kids. Kids can do a whole lot, and their level of creativity is beyond even our imagination.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the reason shows that are on television, Little Big Shots and things like that, when those kids interact, we can't begin to predict how their minds are working, and they can
That's
just
right.
accomplish some amazing things.
And I would say too, don't be afraid of failing. And I told it to any child, right? If you think you're going to fail, just hurry up and get it over with, right? Just do it and get it over with, because you're going to learn from it. Because the moment, as long as you can look up, you can always get up and then see, okay, what must I do differently to be able to accomplish it? And that's one of the things I learned in the military. Don't worry about failing. If you think you're going to fail, just hurry up and get it over with and learn from it, and then move on. And because I've failed more than I've ever succeeded. But you just got to continue fail until you figure it out.
It's awesome. Thanks again for allowing us to recognize you. I know this is difficult for you because you don't like to talk about yourself, and it gets into a realm sometimes being a little embarrassing. But again, I think the message is important for our youth and for our community to recognize that there are men and women such as yourself in our community making a difference, changing the trajectory of our community in a positive way, and we'll feel that impact for generations. We really will. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Chris. And you're right. And it's not something that I can easily like to step out in the spotlight on, but I truly appreciate this opportunity, and just hopefully there'll be someone that would be impacted from it in a very positive way. So thank you very much.
That's our hope too. You bet.
Thank you.